All right, so there's that. Went ahead and painted all this in here. And that way I can, and tape this off that way. Basically, I'm gonna run Raptor liner over this whole thing up to right where that starts and across. So, only problem, I should have went ahead and took care of that. I taped that off because I thought, this is just a kick panel, who cares? This whole thing's gonna be covered with a black plastic piece anyway. You won't see it. And the door's gonna be here, so you likely won't see that either. But I'm not painting the whole car, and I thought, just do those to where they're not bare metal and they don't look this new paint looks so freaking good that it just makes everything else look like crap. So that's too close. It coats the clear. It's MS52 Matrix. I had it left over. It worked great. It's been sitting up there for a long time, but man, it looks good. So a few things that I would do differently if I had it to do over again. I shot this with all the old plastic on it that I had sprayed all of this with, and some of it started flaking off the plastic and dropping into, well, I got a piece over there that's, luckily it's underneath a piece of plastic that flipped into it. You can see that piece right there. And so I'll just sand that off. And it's gonna be underneath this little plate anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can tell the paint has definitely faded over the years. If I get out of the way, I guess. But yeah, it's just a deeper green. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I decided not to do these because it's, I just I'm gonna end up having to do all of this, and I'm not interested in painting the whole thing right now. So just get this to where it looks good. And so I scuffed down to here. You can see where it's scuffed, but that'll be covered in Raptor liner. Just like that in there. So, yep. Turned out pretty good for an amateur. I really enjoy spraying paint. I like it a lot, with the exception of trying to go around those doors. That was a pain in the butt because your gun is big and it wants to hit on everything, and it's just, you really gotta work it around to get it up in certain areas, tight places. But yeah, let me grab my fake sun gun, which is, you don't have one of these, freaking get one. It's amazing. Yeah, you can see that turned out nice. It laid out, the clear laid down really nice. I doubt I'll even have to do anything to that. It actually came out pretty clean, being the fact that this shop is a freaking mess, but I put water down, and so anything that went down stayed down. So might be note to self for you guys, if you don't use water, something to think about. Depending on where you're at, I think it matters, depending on where you're at in the country or whatever, because humidity can mess with your paint too. This, no body work, just epoxy primed it. From here, if I was gonna finish that out, I would sand that lightly and then put filler over the whole thing, and then just knock it all down, and then high build prime it, and then wait for a month or whatever for it to cure out, and depending on what you're trying to do. But for now, that's what that's gonna live like. So, and it's way better than the rust that was there before. So, so what else did I do wrong? I sprayed my epoxy a little bit too heavy. And you can kind of tell right in there, which is no big deal because it's just covering the bare metal. That's your top coat over that, so that will sand out no problem. And then, you know, you can do your filler work or whatever you're going to do over it, or paint over if you want to. I wouldn't recommend painting over over that necessarily, because these panels are pretty wavy, even from the factory. They've got waves in them, and you can kind of tell even through here. Of course, I welded that, so it's going to make some little waves through there, but it really looks pretty decent for just a base metal with epoxy primer over the top. But that paint is absolutely gorgeous. I love that. Now you can kind of get an idea of but the doors will be closed, so you're not going to see it, you know what I mean? So that was the whole thing. I just needed a little bit of coverage to keep it from rusting and, you know, sitting in bare metal or whatever. So a little quick job on that. Like I said, maybe tomorrow, I'll come back out, mask that off, and shoot this with Raptor liner. And then I got to get underneath it. Probably put it up on the lift, get underneath, finish the stiffeners, and just put them in black epoxy as well. And that's it. That's where it's going to stay. So then we're going to send it packing, send it home. So yeah, not bad, not great, but way better than it was. And oh my gosh, it's going to last for a long time now. A few more things I need to do is I got to put this in. Probably need to epoxy that. And then I think I've got something, these little guys, I need to epoxy. I forgot those, which I've got some mixed up. I can probably just do that real quick. Those fit in those holes. And what else? All my wiring is back in. I need to put all my trim back together. Don't know what else. That would have looked really good just like that. Had I not scuffed this all the way down. I scuffed that like 180. Or no, was it 180? No, it wasn't 180. 600, my bad. Yeah, scuffed that with 600. Knocked it down just so the metallics would lay good. Because yeah, if you shoot that into 180, it's gonna look terrible. It's gonna come back and it's gonna be a ton of sand scratches. But yeah, you can. It really is fairly clean. That's surprising for as freaking nasty as this shop is. But this is still 3 days old, so I'll be able to Raptor line right over that. I'm in my window. I might 180 that real quick and then Raptor line over it just to give it an extra tooth. So yeah, you can see where I cut my lines. Actually scuffed up to here, so I could actually buff that out if I wanted to and make it kind of go away. But you can see how much better. That's just crazy. Went ahead and took care of these. Those needed to be coated. So I think that's it. That's all I got. Everything else is done. We're there for the most part. Just a little bit more here and there. Yeah, I kind of wish I'd have done that now because it looks like shit, but I mean, it is what it is. Maybe eventually we'll pull her back in and paint the whole thing, because it would look absolutely amazing if the whole thing was that color and body worked. So anyway, that's it. Hope you guys are having good Christmas and holidays and all the stuff. And have a good one.